What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to a brand new week here on Anfield Agenda. And of course, tonight, the first late night agenda of this new week. We have quite a bit to go through tonight. But to start off the stream, I have to put my hands up on a mistake. Nothing too major, but I always put my hands up if I get something wrong. So I was reading through the comments earlier on that somebody, I put up the video earlier on, somebody said, Craig, where did you get this two signings in the mini transfer window from? And it kind of got me thinking. I think, I'm sure I heard that somewhere. So I went and did a search, as did everybody else. And what we found out is I'm actually wrong. There are two signings that teams in the Club World Cup can make during the 27th of June to July 3rd part of the tournament. But I got that confused when Cave Solakol on Sky was speaking about clubs and two signings. So you can ignore what I've said about a minimum of or maximum of two signings in the mini window. You can sign as many as you like, apparently. So I do sincerely apologise on that one. But we spent a good hour researching it earlier on just to make sure, because I'd heard it mentioned and spoken about, but it seems like we got our wires crossed on that one. So the good news that Liverpool could register Milos Kerkez, Jeremy Frimpong and Florian Wirtz all over the space of this mini start to the window. So just to clear that up, to the gentleman that commented, if you're watching, you were right. Fair play for bringing that up. But we did want to just check on that one. So there we are. Right. So now that that's out of the way, let's get into tonight's stream and say hello to everybody in there. So, look, one thing again, I know it's frustrating on the Wirtz situation. You're as frustrated as I am waiting for the go-ahead for him to have his medical, but we're at the behest now of the two clubs just banging out this deal. They want the €150 million if a Liverpool player isn't included in the deal, and it looks as if we can rule Harvey Elliott out of being one of the potential players in that deal. That news came through earlier on. Kwanzaa could still potentially be on the table for Bayer Leverkusen, but right now it's frustrating, it's annoying, but I'm not going to come on here and tell you a deal is signed or agreed between the two teams when it isn't. Everything else is in place, the 5-year contract. Wirtz is just waiting for Liverpool and Leverkusen to come to a deal. And once that's done, this will all be done really quickly. But I know it's frustrating. That's where we're at the minute with it. I do have more information tonight around Milos Kerkez, which we'll discuss as well. And again, you could get that nod for Florian Wirtz in the next hour. You could get it in the next 2 days. But again, just to say, I know it's frustrating. We've got to be patient on it. The clubs just want to get the best deals possible. And I know it's frustrating, but we're just going to have to sit tight on it. There's no fear of the deal falling apart. You don't need to worry about that, as has been mentioned far and wide by many journalists. And even if you listen to Joshua Kimmich speaking earlier on in the German camp, he only has eyes set for Liverpool. Nothing's going to change his mind there. And it is really frustrating because we're talking about a disagreement here of in and around 16 million quid. That's the holdup of the deal. And I hope that we get this concluded soon, because he has 2 years left on his Leverkusen deal. Leverkusen don't want it to rumble on into another season. They might make noises like they'd like to keep him for one more year, but that means the value of the player will go down dramatically for them because he'd only have 1 year left on his contract then. So you don't need to worry about that side of things. You don't need to worry about the player changing his mind or growing impatient. It's just the clubs trying to hash out this deal. And again, I know it's frustrating. I wish I could come on here and tell you that they'd finally had those agreements reached, but not yet, I'm afraid. That's where we're at with that one. But it will be happening, so you don't need to be too concerned with it. And Tanya said Kelleher sweetener. Yes, that has been put in to make sure that they got their goalkeeper sorted out as well. Kelleher going to Brentford. That medical took place today. He's absent from the Irish camp because he was having his medical. We know obviously Mark Flecken going in the other direction across from Brentford to Bayer Leverkusen. But what I think you can definitely take as a massive sign that Leverkusen know they're selling Wirtz is they're already out there talking about the rebuild, and they're already out there looking at targets to spend that Florian Wirtz money on. So I know it's frustrating, but again, we're just going to have to make sure that we get the best deal for us. And I'm sure Leverkusen want the same. Ash Hayden said, "Hi Craig, are there more benefits for us to sell Elliott or Kwanzaa rather than include them in a swap due to PSR? It's much of a muchness. So let's say Elliott as an example. Well, we paid a 4 million quid fee for him. So anything above that 4 million quid would obviously be pure profit. For Jarell Kwanzaa or anybody that comes through your academy, whatever you get for them is just absolute profit. So it definitely helps with the wiggle room. But I did read up on the PSR stuff earlier on, and let me read this out to you because it might give us a bit of an indication on the finances, because I did spend time looking into this earlier on, and there was actually a good piece on the Echo about the finances and what Liverpool could do this summer. So let me read it out to you. It's a few paragraphs long, but I'll get back to you guys in a sec. So it said, there's a very real possibility that Liverpool could end up spending close to £250 million this summer, and that may even increase should there also be a defensive addition or two thrown into the mix, with the likely to be dependent on what happens with ongoing contract negotiations with Ibrahim Konate to extend his Liverpool stay. Financially, there are few in the Premier League better placed than Liverpool right now to put some money to work in the transfer market from a position of strength. The Reds have no concerns when it comes to the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules, PSR, or UEFA's financial cost control rules, which are assessed through a squad cost ratio. In terms of PSR, the Reds, taking into account the financial year for 24-25, which came to an end at the weekend, the headroom for Liverpool is likely to be above £200 million. Meaning we can spend £200 million without any recruitment or without any sales of players, without getting into trouble here with PSR. But that isn't to say that the money will be put to work. That's not how this goes. The club will look to make those additions over the summer and try as cost neutral as they can be, although it will spike the amortization costs on the balance sheet. This is where it gets a little bit more tricky. So in terms of exits, Kelleher is set to leave for an £18 million deal to Brentford. That represents pure profit for the Reds, as he is an academy graduate that holds no book value. There then is the potential for a Harvey Elliott exit at about £40 million, which has a limited book value. Costas, £15 million with a limited book value. And Jarell Quansah, £40 million, no book value. There is Nunez, who would likely command a fee of £45 to £50 million after a difficult time at Anfield, having cost £64 million plus add-ons in the summer of 2022. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Nunez' book value, which is based on the guaranteed sum with add-ons featured in the accounts as exceptional items, will stand at around £26 million, meaning that Liverpool will need to clear that to make any profit on the deal. Say they sold him for £50 million, then £24 million profit removes £12.8 million off the amortization costs for the next 2 years, which is the length of time he has left on his deal at the club. Harvey Elliott, who arrived for £4 million in 2021, would represent near enough pure profit for the Reds due to his limited book value, while Costas has around £2 million left on his book value, so anything over that would be pure profit, potentially £13 million. Whether Quansah is allowed to leave remains to be seen, but with some interest reported in the 22-year-old, a sum of £40 million would be pure profit. So basically, for the likes of Quansah, Elliott, Darwin, Liverpool have very little owing on them still on the books, so any sales there will clear a lot of headroom for the Reds with PSR. I know, it's complicated, but I just wanted to give you a little rundown on it because I spent a bit of time researching that earlier on and reading through it, and that is where they are at with it. Right, let's get through some of these. Where are we at? Right, let's start with this one. Corbyn. I want Wirtz, but 130 million feels uncomfortable. Look, it's a high number. It's going to be a record deal, but you can see here why we're at this final bit of negotiation now. So Liverpool are at about 130 million euro. Leverkusen want us at 150 million euro. So again, will we find common ground? Yes. It's just a matter of how that's structured. Getting worried about City, Craig. More signings. Again, they're always going to come out and make signings. We know that about Manchester City. They weren't going to sit still in this window. They have a lot of wiggle room as well because of the sales they've made in the past. They're getting Kevin De Bruyne's wages off the books as well. But what they can't do is get Florian Wirtz. So Cherky will have to come in there and they will make other signings. But, you know, I can't, you can't, we can't control what Manchester City do. We can only look after our own situation. Shame I missed you in Liverpool at the parade, down to family member passing. Love to all. And the families the incident. Hope you're keeping well, Craig. I'm all good, thank you, Liverpool Badger, and I hope your family are well and safe as well, my friend, and thank you for the message. Appreciate you. Tipsy Dipsy, taking a little break from Lala, Po and Tinky Winky, has jumped on to say, evening, Craig. I think a lot of people have PTSD from Caicedo, Zubamendi, and I think we're not used to Liverpool acting like this in the window. I totally understand that. Like, it's more than fair to say that. And I do understand people in the chat or watching this back or just online have that. I'm the same. But I just know on this one, it isn't going to fall apart. It is so clear cut. A deal's going to be reached. Leverkusen are already starting to look to spend the money. The player only wants Liverpool has been repeated ad nauseum at this point. But I totally get you. It is. Even for me, I'm frustrated about it, and I know that there's no chance the deal falls apart. But like everybody else, I want to come on and celebrate it. I want to talk about him as a Liverpool player, and we haven't quite gotten to that phase just yet. The 5-year contract has been agreed between him and Liverpool. The wages, all that stuff has been agreed. And as soon as he gets the green light to have his medical, it'll advance very quickly. But it is about getting the details right for everybody, and the devil is in the detail. Hey Craig, people please stop worrying. Liverpool has been the best position there ever been in 30 years. Enjoy and relax. Look, I can't relax. I'm relaxed that it's not going to fall apart, mate, but like everybody else, I'm antsy. I'm not blessed with patience. I'm not a patient man. So I'm very much hoping we get good news on this ASAP. For what it's worth, it looks like the Kerkez negotiations could be concluded soon enough. Now, there has been some talk that there's an agreement between Liverpool and Bournemouth. I don't believe that to be the case. Negotiations are underway, excuse me, but I don't think that they've got an agreement yet. They will get to one, but some reports I've seen have jumped the gun a little bit and said there's an agreement. I don't believe that there is yet from my understanding, but he will also be a Liverpool player. Cozy Go said, Fab said it's just the add-ons. So has it been rejected? The second offer has been rejected, yes. We confirmed that this morning in our video. But that, again, doesn't really mean anything other than we have to get back to figuring out the add-ons, how they're structured. For instance, is it going to be if Liverpool win a Champions League, if he wins a Ballon d'Or, is this done in the next 3 years? These are the type of things that they're talking about at the minute. But again, it's nothing that will make the deal fall apart. It's not like Liverpool. We're not a million miles apart here. And there will be common ground somewhere. Because remember, they need to get going as well. They want to make sure that they don't miss out on any targets. So they're going to have to suck it up at some point. So somebody will have to give way. And I think, again, it's frustrating for us all. But you've nothing to be concerned about. The whining and abuse on X is horrible. Shame it's the biggest site for news outlets, for journalists. Different breed, those folks are. Well, look, as you know, I'm not on there. We have to be on there. You know, as a company, we just have to be. But I don't have access to our X account. I don't go near it for the very reasons you've said, Nick. And I'd love to know who these people are in real life, because most people I talk to, yeah, some people are frustrated that it's not moving quicker, but understand what's going on. But X seems to bring out the worst in humanity at times, and you know, a lot of people just turn off the comments at this point because they're just getting so much crap on there. I'm lucky, as I mentioned, I don't go on there. You know, we have an admin that deals with that for us and does a very good job on there. But for me, yeah, I agree with you, Nick. It's a shit show. Neil Thompson, hello Craig. Ramos, PSG, Liverpool monitoring. Well, there was a report from Anfield Watch the other day. I think it was Sam Maguire who said exactly that. PSG are willing to sell him. That story came out today as well. But what I don't know, and again, I'm going to be honest with you, Neil, I don't know if Liverpool are really interested in him or not. I don't have information for the centre-forward position. So, you know, I would say keep an eye on the likes of Sam Maguire, Ben Bochak as well, and others on that. I couldn't tell you if it's true or not. I'd be a liar. Stevie Boy said Konate contract progression is great news. It is. And for people who haven't heard that, let me just read out what Stevie Boy means. Paul Gorst of The Echo has been writing a piece today, and he said talks between Ibrahima Konate's agent and Liverpool over a new deal progressed in late May. Now, what does progressed mean? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know if it's progressed to the point where we're nearly at a contract extension, but something did worry me today. PSG have basically now let it be known publicly that a right-sided centre-back is high in their priorities and on their shopping list for this summer. So, yeah, I hope we get that deal done soon. For what it's worth, my gut feeling on it is we will. But, you know, you do have to keep an eye on it because obviously PSG have a lot of money, have a lot of sway in the old heartstrings of Konate as well, him being a Paris boy. So we'll have to wait and see. But I'm hopeful he gets a new deal with Liverpool because, you know, I don't think anybody wants him to leave, do they? The real Johnny Sins Did you see that Forest value Gibbs for £100 million? Yeah. To be fair, mate, if I knew Man City was looking at one of our players and I was Forest, I'd be valuing them at £100 million as well, because they paid £100 million for Jack Grealish, so anything is possible. Would you rather Wirtz or Xavi Simons and Nico Williams? Wirtz. I would. I know others may disagree, but for me, mate, I would rather Florian Wirtz over Xavi Simons and Nico Williams. Florian Wirtz is the only one of those three, to me, that could win a Ballon d'Or. And I mean, really, seriously win a Ballon d'Or. The other two, Simons, I'm on the fence about. Nico Williams, I'm a big fan of. But Florian Wirtz is incredible. So for me, mate, I would stick with Florian Wirtz. I hope Wirtz is here till he's 35, said Corbin. Well, it's a 5-year deal he's signing, so we know he'll be here till probably 27. What we don't know actually is he going to demand the number 10 or is he going to ask? Demand is probably not a fair word. There's been a bit of chatter today that he wants to wear the number 10 shirt at Liverpool. This information from Sky Sports Germany said Florian Wirtz's desire is to wear the number 10 shirt at Liverpool, which is currently worn by Alexis McAllister. Now, I don't know where Macca's mind is with this one, but one other prominent number that probably going to become available at Liverpool soon is number 7, if Luis Diaz departs, and that's looking very, very likely. So, what do we think on the numbers thing? Liverpool aren't the type of club, to me, that would force a player to give up a number. If Alexis McAllister wants to give up the number, and I think Firmino gave one up before, if I'm not mistaken, when Salah came in, then maybe. But other than that, give Wirtz 7 if he's willing to take that, because 7's obviously a very special number at our football club. People say FSG out, but they saved us as a club. No, they didn't. That narrative is absolute horseshit, Oliver. Horseshit. We were never gone out of business as a club. The Royal Bank of Scotland called in those loans just to get rid of Hicks and Gillette, and they got the club for cheap. Doesn't mean to say good work hasn't been done, but this narrative of saving us is absolute twaddle of the highest order. What they did was get an undervalued asset at a steal, and have done really well with that asset since. But let's not be reinventing history here. They absolutely saved nothing. They got a good deal, and that's been shown by how much the profit margins for the club have gone up since then. But yeah, I'm fed up of that narrative because it's horseshit. FSG have done some great stuff and some poor stuff. They haven't invested in the past when we've been in a position of strength, and that's come back to cost us. This time, to their credit, it looks like they are trying to do that. And they've delivered 2 league titles and a European Cup and 2 good managers and the AXA Training Centre. And they've redone the stands in and around Anfield. And they've done lots of good stuff. But that one particular narrative about saving us is just fanciful, to be honest. Brilliant. Haha, fucking hilarious. Wirtz, the crack. I know I've been thinking of loads of Wirtz puns today as well, Mike. Wirtz, the hold-up. But we'll have to wait and see. Look, I've got so much news to get through tonight, by the way, because I know we're all single vision looking at Florian Wirtz, but lots of other stuff happening. Big up, mods. And you, Craig, I'll be watching only. Much love, Ian. I hope you're well. Yeah, hope you're well, my man. I do. David Massett said, I also think it's time to move Jota on. So do I. Can we vote on that, actually? That could be the first poll of the night. So, should LFC sell Jota? Now, let's ask this, because this is a question that I definitely want Liverpool to sell Diogo Jota this window. I just do. I've been open about that for a while, but I want to see what you guys think. So should Liverpool sell Jota now? We'll get back to that in a bit. Fimble FIFA. I've watched Wirtz compilation. Wow. You're not the first person to say that to me, my man. A few people have said that to me over the last few days. Brian LFC USA messaged me going, oh shit, just watched that Wirtz compilation. Wow. He is brilliant. He's going to be incredible. I can't wait. It's just, we're in that weird phase now. So we got the initial excitement when we heard he wanted Liverpool. And then we knew that Liverpool were going to go and make the deal happen. And now we're just in this really frustrating phase where we're all sitting around going, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And look, as much as I've told you, I'm 100% certain it happens. Like everybody else, I'm a little bit agitated trying to make sure it happens as soon as possible as well. Elmer said, evening Craig, any updates or is it on standby at the moment? So, Wirtz on standby until they get that agreement. But Kerkez, they are working on at the minute. And on that, let's give you some of the news on that. So, Fabrizio Romano about Milos Kerkez said, Liverpool have been in direct contact with Bournemouth even yesterday and today to discuss the transfer fee. So, it looks like that deal's edging along. Now, there was a report from an Argentinian journalist who was the one that I believe called the Julio Soler deal to take from Lanús to Bournemouth, the replacement left back. They say that Milos Kerkez will be a Liverpool player and that the deal has been done. Now, I don't think there is a full agreement yet between Liverpool and Bournemouth, but it is definitely, like Wirtz, trending in the right direction, and we will get the here we go on that one again, probably in 48 hours or so. These are going to happen quickly. And like I mentioned at the very start of the stream, just to clear up my own mistake, I misinterpreted the comments about only 2 signings being allowed in the early part of the June window. It is actually the 27th of June to the 3rd of July. Clubs in the Club World Cup can only re-register 2 players during that period. So my sincere apologies for that. Liverpool can sign 1, 10, 50 players between June 1st and 10th and register them if they want. So again, apologies on that one. And look, I'm actually happy to be wrong on that one because it gets rid of a headache about which one is Liverpool maybe going to have to hold off on for a few days. But either way, those 3 deals going to be done soon. Somebody said about Malik Fofana. Give me 2 minutes, my man, and I promise you I will be back to talk about Malik Fofana because he's in my notes today. And I want to just get people's thoughts on that as well. But I promise you, my man, give me 2 minutes and I'll get back to that one. Chris, how are we, dude? Chris, 1989 LFC, said, I'm surprised with the transfer fee for Wirtz being so high that we haven't got him on a 6 or 7 year contract. So sometimes players won't sign contracts that long. So we've got to be mindful of this as well. Liverpool certainly hate the 4-year contract type situations. They're always looking for that 5 because it gives you the breathing room. 3 years to probably look, 2.5 and then decide what you're going to do with regards to wage increases and whatnot. I have no doubts that Liverpool would have liked to have got Wirtz on a deal for 6, 7 or 8 years, but ultimately 5 years is more than enough. It gives us plenty of wiggle room there. Just get it done though at this point, Chris, what? And then we can all celebrate. So, German report suggesting Liverpool are to make a €140 million offer for Wirtz. What's your thoughts? My thoughts are that if there's no player included, Liverpool are probably going to have to pay more than they would have initially wanted to. And what I mean by that is, if Liverpool include a player, let's just say Kwanzaa as an example, then the book value of that to Liverpool, as we mentioned, is 0. Anything on Jarell Kwanzaa will be pure profit. So if Liverpool were able to get Kwanzaa in as part of a deal with a valuation of, I don't know, throw a number out there for argument's sake, €40 million, then that would bring the Wirtz deal down to €110 million and everybody would be happy. So these are the type of things we're waiting to see if they happen. And nobody seems to know exactly what the situation is about that potential player. Elliott has been ruled out as an option to go. So it does seem to come down to now it's either going to be Kwanzaa or Liverpool pay up the money. So we'll have to wait and see. At €140 million, if that offer is, as been reported in Germany, correct, then I think Leverkusen would be foolish not to take it. Because that is pretty close to what they were asking for. And remember, Bayern Munich were only willing to be doing this deal. Initially, they wanted about £85 million. So I would say we're pretty much there at this point. But again, wait for that. Here we go. Who's the most likeliest to replace Heidinger? So it's either, looking like either the coach that used to work at Feyenoord and AZ Alkmaar with Arne Slot, who has since finished his managerial stint, or Dirk Kuyt. They're the 2 names that I'm seeing most mentioned. There's been some, I'll just call it rumour mongering that it could be Steven Gerrard, but I don't believe that to be the case as much as it would be fun. But yeah, I would say Dirk Kuyt or the former, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, who used to work with him at AZ Alkmaar and Feyenoord. Now, Sipke Hulshoff, remember, is still here, but yeah, Johnny Heitinga confirmed as the new Ajax head coach. Wasn't Szoboszlai supposed to be the Mega 10, the KDB? Again, when Jurgen Klopp signed Dominic Szoboszlai, maybe, but we don't have Jurgen Klopp as manager now. We have Arne Slot, and Dominic Szoboszlai both seem to believe that his better position is the right-hand side of midfield, or his favourite position. So, yeah, again, I know we look at this through first 11 eyes, but think of it from a squad perspective. It is better for us to have those options, and Wirtz can operate in a 10, a false 9, in off the left. So lots of options, but again, Szoboszlai won't be going anywhere. Harry, how are you, bro? Said, hey Craig, hope you're well. Do you think that Bournemouth will struggle with signing players, as the whole world knows they sold 2 players for nearly 100 million? So when they go for players, the price might go up. Maybe, but they probably won't have the same high levels of asking price that it would be if a Liverpool or a United or an Arsenal or somebody were knocking on the door. Yeah, they will have money to spend. The world will know they have money to spend, but they've already sorted out a left back as an example. So we said this when they signed Julio Soler in January, that it was likely that he was coming in now to be the replacement for Kerkez. So they were planning for that in advance. Having lost Ian Huyson, I would imagine they probably expected to lose him in the summer, knowing he had the release clause as well. Other than that, though, yeah, they're going to have to get cracking on some signings. But they're still a pretty attractive team to go. A good young manager there in Iriola. Obviously a style of football that's attractive on the eye as well. And some good players still to remain there. Right, let me just run through some news, because I know super chats are flying in, and my goodness, I appreciate them. But I also do want to make sure that everybody that's tuning in can get a rundown of the news as well. So bear with me, and I'll fly through some of the news stories from today. And if you can help me out by hitting that subscribe button and a like while we're waiting, that would be hugely appreciated, folks. I can't believe we're closing in on 320,000 already. You're all mad. I love your debates, but you're all mad. Right, so let's get cracking with some of the news from today. So this story got me up off the edge of my seat, but I don't know if I should believe it or not. And it said Liverpool want to sign Atalanta's defensive midfielder, Ederson, as well as Florian Wirtz. Now, you know I like Ederson. You know I've wanted him for a long time. But Tudo Atalanta doesn't strike me as a source that I'm going to hang my hat on. They've also just lost their manager, by the way. Gasparini's left there after, I think, 9 years with them. He's just resigned at the end of the season, or he left at the end of the season. So keep an eye on that situation. Maybe something has changed there. I'd love us to sign Ederson. I'd love the story to be true, but I remember that same outlet maybe running the same story last year, and I wonder, are they trying to drum up interest? On this one, Romano said, club optimistic between Liverpool and Leverkusen to get an agreement soon on Florian Wirtz. Liverpool are trying to negotiate a package down to about 135 million euro, with Leverkusen wanting 150 million euro. So it's again about trying to find a way to split that difference. We talked about Paul Gore's post about Ibrahim Konate contract negotiation having some movement forward in May. So here's something that I hope, when the Echo are saying you've nothing to worry about, I think we should know we've nothing to worry about, because they're always cautiously optimistic on transfers or whatever. You know, they're not ones like us who would run out there and start shouting about the likelihoods of these things. So for them to say what I'm about to read out to you now, you can take it that it's gospel. Liverpool refused to pay the £50 million demanded for Amaya Lavia by Southampton 2 years ago, and Chelsea were able to pull off a deal. There is no sense of a familiar situation developing with Wirtz and his entourage having given their word last month. And that's important here, because the reason we didn't get Caicedo, as well as the state of the negotiation, was that he had given Chelsea his word and they'd been speaking with him for a long time. Liverpool have the word of Florian Wirtz and his family, and everybody knows that. So it's just a matter of getting a deal done between the two clubs. Liverpool remain locked in talks with Leverkusen after a second offer of £109 million was rejected. Liverpool are still determined to reach an agreement. Both clubs remain relaxed about the situation. There is no feeling that a collapse is imminent, with the Reds locked in to thrash out what would be a record deal. Quevian Kelleher, as we mentioned, underwent his medical today at Brentford. So here's Joshua Kimmich, German player, Bayern Munich player, speaking about Florian Wirtz. He said, he will have his reasons for making this decision. I hope it's the right path for him. As a Bayern player, I would have naturally wanted him to come to us. So you can see there, he's in the German camp with the likes of Kimmich, those Bayern players, and they're even coming out and saying publicly he's made his decision. He is coming to Liverpool, and they're disappointed with it. So you've really got nothing to worry about. He also leads the Player of the Match leaderboard for the Champions League this season, having had 5 Player of the Match performances during the season. Second on the list is Lautaro Martinez with 4. Now let's move on for a little conversation about Lucho for a second, because it definitely looks like Luis Diaz is departing. Florian Plettenberg said Diaz is one of the main targets for FC Barcelona in the upcoming summer transfer window, despite the high overall cost and ongoing issues with registration. Initial talks regarding Diaz and Barcelona have taken place. Interest from Saudi Arabia remains very concrete. And Al Nasser are the team from Saudi Arabia most likely, although they're still trying to sort out Ronaldo's contract. Here's an interesting one about Chiesa though, and this comes from Dario AS, a Spanish outlet, so again, big pinch of salt. They say Atletico Madrid is in the picture to sign Federico Chiesa this summer, and he is seen as a golden opportunity for this transfer window. This is interesting because, of course, Arne Slot said that he will definitely be here next season. So let's wait and see on that one. Stefan Borson, former Manchester City financial advisor, I think, has given his take on the situation with Florian Wirtz and why Liverpool will get the player. Let me read this out to you. So, speaking here, he said, I think the strategy of his agent, who is his father, is to remove any competition, and therefore your auction has been destroyed if you're Leverkusen. This was speaking with Football Insider. He said, Liverpool can say, we'll wait it out. The player wants to come. We'll pay a good fee, but we're not paying the £125 million. Or we'll pay £125 million if he wins the Ballon d'Or within the next 3 years. Something like that. It's an easy decision for Liverpool. If the player achieves those heights, it also means Liverpool have won everything. I would expect probably the deal to be done. I guess Leverkusen's leverage is that they can say, well, to be honest, unless you're going to pay the fee, we'll keep him for another year. But I think that feels a little bit of a bluff, because clearly his contract is going to edge down, and I don't know how attractive it would be for Wirtz to stay now. So definitely looks like it is likely this is coming to a conclusion very soon, and a positive one for us. Sky Sports and Cave Solokol have said it's a matter of time before Liverpool and Leverkusen agree a deal for Wirtz. The latest information is that Leverkusen would accept the package of £120 million, having previously wanted £126 million. So as you can see now, the gap is coming in shorter and shorter. And £120 million is about 138, 137 million euro, maybe something like that. So we're getting really close. Also, Florian Plettenberg said the Wirtz deal is not on the verge of collapse. Negotiations are continuing as Liverpool have not met Leverkusen's expectations yet. Liverpool are very confident they can reach an agreement in the next few days. A total package for Florian Wirtz is expected to be between 140 million and 150 million, and an agreement should be reached soon, again from Florian Plettenberg. What he did say, however, is Harvey Elliott is not a topic of discussion at Leverkusen anymore. Keyword there, anymore. So it looks like the only potential player there is Kwanzaa that could be included in the deal. Fabrizio Romano, speaking about Luis Diaz, said Luis Diaz is a top target for Al Nasser. They feel he can leave Liverpool. They really want Luis Diaz. There is interest from Barcelona in Diaz. He's a top target, but at the moment they still can't or are not planning to pay crazy money to Liverpool. Well, then they're going to lose out on him, because Liverpool know that if they don't sell him to Barcelona, they can sell him to Al Nasser for €85 million or more. Florian Wirtz's desire is to wear the number 10 shirt at Liverpool, which is currently worn by Alexis McAllister, according to Sky Germany. Now, here's what has me worried. PSG's priority this summer is to sign a right-footed centre-back. Luis Campos has been quietly advancing on specific target. Luis Enrique has already spoken with his priority target. A meeting is scheduled for early next week. I very much hope that isn't Ibrahim Konate. I'm hoping it isn't. I don't know one way or the other, but I'm worried. And I don't even know if I have a reason to be. Just I've always known that PSG were a club that could tempt Konate away potentially. So we've already done that one on Kerkez. Benfica won't be receiving one of the clause payments for Darwin Núñez. And this is really important because it means Darwin Núñez isn't Liverpool's record signing. So this said, Benfica won't be receiving one of the clause payments for Darwin Núñez, which they expected to come through if he would have started one more Premier League or Champions League game. Ultimately, Darwin cost Liverpool a total of £71 million and not the 84 million projected fee if all the clauses were met. So that means Virgil van Dijk is still Liverpool's record transfer. Then we had the stuff from that Argentinian journalist saying Milos Kerkez will be a Liverpool player, 5-year contract, and everything has been agreed. Although I don't think everything has been agreed because I don't think the fee has been agreed just yet. Speaking about that journalist, LFC Transfer Room said he's gotten some exclusive in the past before, mainly does Argentinian Uruguayan news, but from time to time comes out with info on other players. Then we've got Liverpool and Bournemouth are expected to progress in talks for Milos Kerkez in the coming days. Parties appear confident to seal it for a fee of around £45 million. However, no agreement has been reached yet. Bryan Mbeumo looks like he's going to Manchester United. And surely this means they're going to have to sell Bruno because they've got the Matheus Cunha deal sorted out. And now it looks like, according to David Ornstein, a very respected journalist, Bryan Mbeumo has decided he wants to join Manchester United this summer. The likes of Arsenal, Newcastle and Spurs were all interested, but he favours Old Trafford if a deal can be agreed with Brentford. That really shocks me because Spurs I could maybe understand. But Newcastle and Arsenal, if I'm Bryan Mbeumo, I'm choosing Newcastle and Arsenal every day of the week over a move to United. But that surely means that they're selling their captain, because there's no way that they're going to have the money to do that and that if they're keeping hold of Bruno. So surely that deal for Bruno to Saudi has to be getting agreed. Where else we got? So I did promise that gentleman a moment ago I come back to Malik Fofana, and I'm a man of my word. So this post here from a Lyon account, La Progress Lyon, said Liverpool have set their sights on Olympic Lyon, winger Malik Fofana as Luis Diaz heads to potential exit. Lyon have a price tag of £67 million, but Liverpool know they need to sell players and might be able to get him for less. So this kid wants to play for Liverpool. We know this because he said it himself. So what would we think about that one? That will be our second poll of the night in a moment. But what do we think if Liverpool did sign Malik Fofana after selling Luis Diaz? Am I going to sit here and profess to be an expert on him? No. But like everybody else, I've watched a few bits and pieces of the highlight reels and he looks good. And I trust the recruitment team that they feel this kid could develop into something really special. What's this one? Right, so this one here is talks are still underway between Liverpool and Leverkusen. Wirtz only wants Liverpool and has made it very clear in recent hours, said Sasha Tavolieri. Like I said to you guys the other day, I wouldn't put my neck on the line unless I was absolutely confident that Wirtz was not changing his mind. And journalists again repeating it, he only wants Liverpool. He will be a Liverpool player. Oliver, I didn't forget about it, man. I had to get through the whole news. I promise you I'd get back to it, bro. And I did. But I appreciate you giving me a nudge just in case I forgot, my man, because I do forget on occasion. That was the poll I was going to ask you to do, said Eddie Cox-Wilkins. See, Eddie, me and you, bro. We're here. We got it. So let's check in on that poll anyway. And then we'll get back and run the one on Malik Fofana. So should Liverpool sell Diogo Jota now? We've had 2,600 votes and 76% of people say yes, Liverpool should sell Diogo Jota now. I've got to say, you all surprised me with that one. I thought that would have been a bit closer to 50-50. I'm definitely in the yes, sell him now camp. I think it will be the right move. Clive, Austin, I'm right there with you, bro. Clive said we want Alvarez. So does Craig. Craig very much wants Julian Alvarez. Rob Quinn said, I still think Jota is a great sub. Yeah, look, Rob, I'm not going to be displeased if he stays. You know, if he can rediscover the form we know he's capable of, he is a very handy lad to have around. And what I would also say, Rob, is it definitely feels like Arne Slot trusts Diogo Jota. So, I'm not expecting a sale there, but I would sell him personally. What's this from Andres? Private flight scheduled to depart from Nuremberg near Germany's training camp at 3 p.m. on Monday, set to arrive in Manchester. Well, that's today, so that would have already flown. So I don't think that's going to be the case, because he's got that game on Wednesday as well. So I think today probably would have been the deadline, I would say, for getting him over here for a medical. I don't know if there's any chance the medical could be done over in Germany or not. Maybe somebody else could have information on that one, but just get that agreement and then we'll get to here we go. Right, let me get this poll up before I forget. So... is it 1 or 2? 1 second. Okay. Right, so would you be happy with Fofana as a Diaz replacement? We'll leave that run for a while and then we'll come back to it and see what you guys think. He looks like an exciting young player, but, I'd be a liar if I sat here and told you I know everything about him and he's destined to be great. He looks good, but... S40 said, if Atletico really want Chiesa, we'll trade him for Alvarez. Definitely. If they want Chiesa, if they want Darwin, I would do... If we signed Alvarez and Wirtz in this window, just give us the trophies. That's all I'm going to say. Just give us the damn trophies because, yeah, we'd be cruising. Would you move on Jota and Diaz if the money is right? We'd have to have a centre forward lined up, though. You couldn't lose both your centre forwards. Maybe you can lose one and think, okay, Wirtz could operate in a 9. Maybe Gakpo could be pushed centrally. Diogo still at the club. But would I move on both of them? If they knew they had the centre forward we wanted, yeah, I would. Because we've got Jadon Danns, who's going to go on loan, but still coming through. We've all talked about the possibility maybe of moving Mo centrally at some point. So yeah, I would. And there has been talk of potential offers for Diogo Jota. Wolves were mentioned, Newcastle were mentioned. I think a club over in Spain or two was mentioned as well. Christer Hansen said, it's baffling the negativity in the chat around the Wirtz delay. I'm trying to ignore it, Christer, because, I understand the frustration of some people. Sometimes I wish they'd word their displeasure a little bit differently. But we'll all be happy when it happens. Look, I get it. I'm frustrated. I'm wanting it to happen quickly as well, but it's the biggest deal in our club's history. And every single journalist that you can name has said that this isn't going to fall apart and that there is nothing to worry about and that he only wants Liverpool. And I hope that calms down a few people. Although I do appreciate that, we're all on tender hooks here waiting to see what happens. Jeremy, how are you, dude? Said, do you think Wirtz will play central or more on the left? Do you think Slot will change the formation next season to have 2 central attacking mids? So we've had a few conversations, Jeremy, wondering, would we see a 4-2-2-2 or a 4-2-4 or some variation of that? Perhaps. I guess we're going to have to hear from the manager himself when we sign Florian Wirtz about how he tends to, or how he's going to tend to use him. Wirtz seems to be given the guarantee he will be operating as a number 10, so looks like it will be either behind the striker or as a false striker. But as you've mentioned, he could also drift in off the left side. So let's say we sell Diaz and we sign Fofana. Well, then I think we can take it that we're not really going to look to use Wirtz too much on the left because you have Cody Gakpo and Fofana. If Diaz goes and we don't bring in a replacement, then maybe you think, okay, maybe the manager thinks we're going to operate with Wirtz on the left sometimes. So until we get all of those questions answered, I don't know is the honest answer, but versatility is going to be key, especially against different teams, different tactics in different competitions, and those horrible words that give us all shivers, low block, that this is where he could become really, really important. Unknown Or, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, my man. Appreciate you. Right, let's get cracking. Let me get back into the chat. I don't like Gakpo, good player, but like a tortoise. He's actually one of our fastest players. And I thought he was slow as well until somebody pointed out the actual facts to me. I like Cody Gakpo. I do. I think he gives us a little bit something different. And I think he's got end product. But I think he cuts inside too often. That's one of the things that I get frustrated about watching him. And to be fair, Diaz does the same thing. No way Slot would have sold the Liverpool project to Wirtz by telling him he'll put him on the left. Surely we have to build a team around him in the centre. I would imagine that's the case. For me, the question will be, is he going to be a 10 or a false 9? That's the big question that I'm seeing here, in my mind. Because if you want to keep, let's say, Gravenberch, McAllister and Szoboszlai all in the team, then you probably have to operate him as either a rotating 10 with Gravenberch or with Szoboszlai or as a false 9. So that would be my guess at it. Unknown Or, you upgraded your membership straight away, man, to an Anfield Agenda Ultras one. Appreciate that, sir. Thank you. And welcome in. Craig, you seem we're suddenly favourites to sign Gyökeres according to the odds. Yeah, 3-1. That's not favourites. That just means we're the one that the most money has gone on. I can only repeat this. We won't be signing Victor Gyökeres unless something changes very, very drastically. And favourites at 3-1. It's not really favourites, you know. If you're odds on for something, you know, that might raise an eyebrow. But yeah, look, there's just running out of clubs. Arsenal seemingly want Šeško. United have already done their business through the centre. The options aren't really there from Barcelona, potentially. But again, I don't think they have the financial means to do it at the minute. And they're looking for a wide player. So, I don't know. He's not coming to Liverpool, though. Why does nobody go in for Cherky? Surely for 20 million is worth the risk. He's not 20 million, and Manchester City are probably going to sign him. So there's your two answers. Talks of about 30 to 40 million now, according to some reports in France, and it does look as if Manchester City are going to pull the trigger there. But he wants Liverpool. Ryan Cherky wants to play for Liverpool. But Liverpool obviously have all of our eggs in the Florian Wirtz basket. But I do think he will move likely to Manchester City unless they absolutely lose their minds and spend 100 million on Morgan Gibbs White. In which case, you crack on, Man City. Work away. Ryan O'Driscoll said, patience with the Wirtz deal, folks. This isn't Football Manager or FIFA. These deals are complicated. He's coming and he'll be worth the wait. Good things come to those who wait. Keep calm. Look, I get it. All I would say to anybody in the chat who's frustrated is don't get yourself banned. You know, we don't want the mods to have to kick you out or ban you. So, by all means, vent your frustration, but be respectful to everybody in the chat and you'll get that respect back. I'm not a man blessed with patience, so I get it. You know, I'm sitting here every day looking at my phone, scrolling, messaging people, checking in, just trying to find out if we've got the breakthrough because we're so close. Like, so close. But as Ryan said, it is a really difficult transfer. You've got a club who have to make it look like they haven't given up their prized asset easily. You've got a buying club that obviously need to make sure we leave the wiggle room for PSR and all that stuff for more deals that have to happen down the line. It has to be a club record transfer for Liverpool as well. So again, all the T's have to be crossed, the I's have to be dotted. It's just going to take time. And that's before we get into the whole Nike Adidas thing. You know, he's an Adidas athlete. Liverpool are currently with Nike. When do you do the unveiling? Do you put out the shirt number when he's in a Nike shirt? Do you wait for Adidas? Image rights? All these other things that you and I and most normal people would never have to think about or deal with. They are really, really complicated things. And then, of course, throw into the mix even Wednesday. So let's say Liverpool let's say he got injured on Wednesday, touch wood, it doesn't happen. But let's say he did. That could change the landscape as well. So many things here. So many things. But again, yes, I do echo the sentiments of stay calm. As frustrating as it is. Noel, thank you, my man. Appreciate you. Ella said Craig Jokeres should come back home to Coventry. Championship Coventry, Ella. Couldn't make it to the Prem Coventry, Ella. You need to be supporting better clubs. You got the Liverpool one right, Ella. But Bowes and Coventry now. Come on. I think he's probably gone a little bit past Coventry level, to be honest. For the longest time, I thought Wirtz was Madrid bound. 100% I would have thought them or Bayern. I was actually going back through some of our older videos to have a look. And even in those videos, I said, yeah, Liverpool have been linked with Florian Wirtz, but I just don't think it's possible. And I didn't until it was. And then I was gobsmacked. And even then, Corbin, I had to double, triple, quadruple check what I was seeing and what I was hearing because, 150 million euro in FSG. they're not things that I thought I'd be sitting here going, yeah, they're doing that. But it just goes back to what I said about Caicedo. And anybody who's been to any of our live shows will have heard me say this on stage, and you guys have heard me say it on here. People ask me, do I think that was a publicity stunt? No. I always said that whatever we think of FSG, I feel that was a genuine offer. Because what was the upside of lying? There was none. We tried, didn't work because we looked really foolish in that scenario. So when I heard that the play was to go big and get Wirtz, I knew we were going to get him because they're not going to allow this situation happen again. They're going to get it over the line because they know it would be a laughing stock if it didn't. Zubamendi, obviously Caicedo, Lavia, it wouldn't work. But big difference is we have Hughes, Edwards, and a different team negotiating. Right, where are we at? This one. Oliver said, chat, look at the striker called Mika Bireth. Why is that name ringing a bell to me? Did somebody ask me to look at him the other day or something? Maybe it was yourself, Oliver. What's your opinion on Hugo Ekitike? See what I've done? I've only learned how to pronounce his name. Watch us not sign him. Do you think a deal is possible, or is it Chelsea? If not him, who do you think we could realistically sign? Well, one thing I feel quite comfortable with, and don't agree with the Echo on a lot of stuff, but I'll agree with them on this. I don't see Liverpool paying that money. If it is £85 million or €100 million for Hugo Ekitike, Liverpool aren't paying that. Simple as that. Chelsea, maybe, I don't know. Is he a target of ours? I don't know the answer to it. He's been reported by journalists to be. I don't have any information on the centre forward, so I don't know. But I feel very confident that we're not paying that money because he's not worth it. He may be worth it, but he's not now. So if I'm Liverpool, I'm looking around. I'd rather throw another 20 million on or 50 million on and really make a play for Julian Alvarez. Like, there's £100 million. It would make more sense to me. So Ekitike, I don't know, mate. I don't know. But I know that Liverpool won't pay €100 million for him. Not a chance. Not a chance that's happening. It's just that we're not going to do that. So I'm not saying there isn't a chance Liverpool could sign him at a different price point. But I'm telling you, we're not going to pay £100 million for him. Or euro even. Bila, thank you so much, man. That is an incredible super chat. Blown away, man. Appreciate you so much. It always blows my mind that people are so kind and generous with stuff like this. Like, there's never any expectation from us around super chats or stuff like that. We obviously love when people become members because of the emojis and, it's kind of a win-win for everyone. But, when yourself or Brian or Barry or anybody comes in and drops a £50 super chat, it genuinely stops me in my tracks for a minute because I'm so appreciative of your kindness, mate. Thank you. Hi, mate. Sorry missed the show last week. Got back late after the game, 8 p.m. Didn't want to ruin the show by turning up late. Hopefully somebody enjoyed the 5 buds I purchased. Do you know what? I got screwed out of drink that day as well. So I was having, I had a bucket of Corona, so 5 bottles of Corona, and we were doing the watch along, and I think I drank about 3 of them, and then the smoke alarm went off, and we all had to get evacuated out of the building. So my bottles ended up being left there, and yeah, I never got my 2 bottles. And my Premier League trophy still in the Hot Water Comedy Club as well. So I've got to figure out a way to get that trophy. And Paul, J-Wad, if you're watching this, mate, you work in shipping, surely you can help with a company that can collect, wrap up that trophy safely and ship it back over to me, because trying to figure it out has been, it's been a difficult one trying to get sorted. But appreciate you, my man, and I'm glad you're safe and well as well. But don't apologise for missing the show, my man. You got to see the Reds winning the Premier League, and I hope you had a great day. Work permits need to be considered too in deal, said Harry. Yeah, but that won't be a reason for the hold up. That'll be a straightforward thing. You know, he's capped long enough and hard enough for the German national team, and you would definitely fall under the category of a special talent. So I wouldn't be worrying about that one. Right, let me get back to the poll. Let me check in on the poll that we put up. Oh, wow. This one's close. So keep your votes coming in. We asked, would you be happy with Malik Fofana as a Luis Diaz replacement? And it's 49-51 at the minute. So your vote matters on this one. Do mods get paid? No, mate, they don't get paid. I don't know how much money people think we make on YouTube, by the way. It sometimes makes me laugh. I had people telling me outside at the live show that I'm a millionaire. Telling me that I'm a millionaire. I'm here in the council house knowing very well I amn't or anywhere even close to it. But no, mate, mods don't get paid. So we've about 40 mods. Like, again, I don't know how much money you think we make on YouTube, but it's nowhere near the levels that we can afford to start paying moderators, right, mate? No, we're very grateful to them for the efforts that they put in, but no, they certainly aren't paid. Unless you count a free ticket to one of our shows when we do them, that's about it. Jamie said check is in the mail. Yeah. You should have said yes, then await the applications. Yeah, no, definitely not. I only started getting paid just under 2 years ago. So I hope that gives you some, like, I worked for 5.5 years before I start getting a wage from the channel. So yeah, definitely no on the mods one. Rory said, you're a millionaire because you've got a great family and a great community. Mate, I wish I was a millionaire someday, but it's not my motivation on the channel. Like, I could take steps to make myself a lot more money, but it wouldn't feel natural to what we do. So I've always looked at it like this, really simply. Look after the content, look after your community, be consistent in uploading, and have fun with people. And hopefully everything else falls into place. That's been my plan, if we make the community and the content good and people enjoy it, the rest should take care of itself, So that's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, honestly, oh God, if you Google me and say net worth, you see things like 2 to 8 million. I wish. God, I wish. Dan, appreciate you, man. Thank you. Ahoy from the north of Ireland. Don't let him fool you. He's rolling in a Benz. No, I do have a nice car though. I mean, Gustav, I bought myself a new car at the start of the year. We got I think it was expensive, certainly the most expensive thing I've ever bought, but it's a Renault. So yeah, we bought ourselves a Renault Rafale, but the top spec one. It's really nice. It's a lovely car, to be honest. We did look at a Merc. We looked at a CLA, but the Renault was better. Genuinely, similar money and the Renault was much better car. But Connor drives a BMW, so Connor bought himself a BMW fairly recently. So you can all make rich jokes at Connor because he's the BMW driver here. I'm a mere Renault driver. Kean said 4 months. I can't wait for next season for the Reds. Same. I'm buzzing, mate. Absolutely buzzing for next season. High rolling Connor. I know, 26, he's out there driving a Beamer. Like, do you know, at 26, I was still driving fucking 2 grand rust heaps. Yeah, God, I remember one of the cars we had were so bad. We bought a Suzuki Swift at one point, an older one, and we had to go and buy seatbelts for the back of it because the car had no seatbelts in the back of it. I remember having cars that I could start with a hall door key and put the key back in my pocket, like. Yeah, so my dream's to buy my council house, lads. That's the level I'm working at here. So yeah, the millionaire stuff's out the window. Ooh, it's getting a bit wider. We're going to go at 2,000 votes. We're going to call this poll a Malik Fofana. So do keep your comments coming in on it. But we asked, would you be happy with Fofana as a Diaz replacement? And so far, it's heading in one direction. It's not a positive one. Zach said, have you heard about Mbeumo to United? It's looking likely. FFP, my arse. I can only think, Zach, that they're going to have to sell Bruno and that's going to fund Mbeumo and, well, the guts of Mbeumo and Konate. That's the only thing I can understand. If they manage to keep Bruno Fernandes and sign them too, then I'm really going to question the whole FFP PSR thing. Because remember, United already got an exemption from their PSR, their last PSR cycle. They were over it, but somehow they got an exemption for it. I don't know the ins and outs of it because, I don't follow Manchester United. But yeah, like you, mate, if they're, Jim's cutting the crust off the sandwiches and, sacking people left, right, and centre, where are they coming up with this dough from? Chris Chan said if Wirtz wants the number 10 shirt, he can stay in Germany. Look, I wouldn't be forcing Maka to give it up either. The number 7 shirt could be there if Diaz leaves. So, that's a shirt I think he should be looking at. And with the significance of the number 7 shirt at Liverpool as well, great shirt to get. Rashford, Garnacho, Anthony, Craig, you think they're all staying? Rashford and Garnacho definitely gone. Don't know what's going on with Anthony. But again, how much money will they get in for those? I'm not sure. I think they wanted about 40 million for Rashford. What I always find funny about Marcus Rashford actually is you always hear a similar version of the same story. Marcus Rashford has been offered to Barcelona. They don't want him. Like, they've never really wanted to buy him by the looks of it, but he's been offered to them. Garnacho, there's been some talk of Chelsea again. I don't know if that's true or not. And then there's the Sancho sale as well, of course. So yeah, look, United have spunked a load of dough up against the wall, and they're gonna have to take losses on a lot of players. Who wears 23? I don't think 23 is available at the minute, right? At Liverpool? I'm almost sure. 23, 27 are available. Is 6 available? Or is that gone? I know Endo has 3. I was thinking about the situation for Milos Kerkez as well and his number. So 23, 27 available. Oh. Is 6 available, yeah? I think 6 is available. 7 will be available if Diaz goes, obviously. 23 is a pretty cool number, though, because 23 had 23 had young Robbie Fowler, 23, Kara, 23, Emre Can, 23. I think Shaqiri, 23 as well. And then Diaz took 23, obviously, before he took 7. Ash said, Craig, what's the story about Doak? I didn't hear the full details today, just that Everton want him. Yeah, so look, we told you about maybe 2 months ago that Everton were interested in Ben Doak, and I think Sky ran with the story recently as well to say that they're interested. Look, I would say personally, if Everton come up with a number Liverpool are happy with, sell him. If Liverpool don't view Ben Doak as part of the club's future, then sell him. If it's to Everton, so be it. I don't like the fact that we don't do business between certain clubs. I think if you look at the likes of Inter Milan, AC Milan, other clubs, other leagues, they do it. So maybe try to smooth the waters and then say, oh, also, that Jared Branthwaite lad, is he available? But yeah, look, if Liverpool can get the right money for him, sell him. I've always been led to believe we're going to sell him anyway, like I said, for months. Yeah, so Feels a weird one though, because I will sit here and tell you I think Ben Doak's a really good player. But, you know, if Liverpool don't see the pathway there from, then there's no point in just loaning him out over and over again. Thoughts on Jota? Keep forgetting we still have him. We asked earlier on, should we sell him? And absolutely yes was the answer. I think it was 67% or something like that. Maybe even higher. I can't remember the exact number on the poll from earlier. Said we should sell him, mate. And I'm not seeing too much lately about us moving him on, but I'd be a seller. Stevie Boy said, City spending while facing charges. What's going on? Your guess is as good as mine on that one. They spent 160 million or something in the winter window. Now they're outspending again. They've got that Club World Cup money coming in, obviously. But look, we're all waiting to see what happens with those charges. And, you know, I don't think there is a football fan on this platform that has given out more about Manchester City than me over the years. I mean, just look back at some of our streams. I despise them and what they've done to get to where they are. So I hope they get held to account. But at this moment, Stevie Boy, we're just all waiting around. SDO said, I'm excited to see Chiesa next season at the Reds. Will he be here, though? Because, as we mentioned a few moments ago, where was this story? 1 second. Where was this one? I'm trying to find my notes on it. Yeah, this one. Atletico Madrid are in the picture to sign Federico Chiesa this summer, as he's seen as a golden opportunity, said Dario AS in Spain. So, yeah, is he going to be here? Well, I guess we're going to have to wait and see. The manager did say he would, though. At the end of last season, he was asked and he said, yes, definitely yes. Harry said, Rashford, Garnacho are pure profit. Anthony is going to be mostly profit. Say that again? How is Anthony going to be mostly profit? Please do explain that one to me. Rashford, Garnacho, I totally get academy products. Totally get where you're coming from. Anthony, they paid 100 million euro for. So in what world is he mostly going to be profit? Even on the club's balance sheet, what's he been there? 2-3 years? So there would still be an outstanding balance of probably 40-45 million euro to be amortized there on his deal. Bruno is largely dependent if he wants to leave, but if Ineos are smart with deals, it's not crucial. Again, I think Jim Ratcliffe said that they have payments totaling 100 and something million to go out this summer, or commitments already made to the tune of 100 and something million from previous deals that they have to pay out this summer, Harry. So, but I really don't know where you're getting the Anthony pure profit thing from. The rest I agree with you on, but on him, I just don't see how that's correct. 9 will be available when Darwin goes too. Yeah, but if you're going to bring in a new number 9, then it'd be nice to give them the number 9, wouldn't it? But yeah, I just don't want Alexis feeling like he's being pushed to give up number 10, because I like seeing Alexis in the number 10. It reminds me of having our own little Leo Messi out there on the pitch. But we'll see what happens when Wirtz comes in. Craig, how come so many of the attackers have been linked with moves away? Because they haven't really lived up to the billing, in all honesty. Like, the left-sided players, Diaz, I can't really give you an answer on that, other than maybe he is agitating for a move and maybe Liverpool feel like we could refresh age-wise there. But centrally, let's be honest about it, Jota and Darwin haven't really had a great season, so I can understand the links to them away. Ben Doak, the plan was always to, excuse the phraseology here, but like fatten him up and sell him. As in, give him minutes, build him up, and then sell him on, make a big profit, and there will be. Other ones, it's just a matter of maybe upgrading. So if Elliott moves on, you know, club are going to bring in Wirtz there. Right, now let's get to this poll. So, we asked, would you be happy with Malik Fofana as a Diaz replacement? And after 2,370 votes, 54% said no. They wouldn't be happy with Malik Fofana as a Diaz replacement. I have no idea if you're right or you're wrong. I haven't got a clue because I don't know enough about him. But I do trust, if he's the one Liverpool go for, that we've done our homework. Mohammed Abbas Mahmood said, sorry, came in late. Any news on Wirtz? Nothing that you want to hear. Nothing groundbreaking, mate. No. Just still waiting for that valuation to be agreed between the two clubs, and it looks like they're getting closer. You know, what was the latest report that came in there a while ago? Where was it? No, it wasn't that one. Wasn't that one? Wasn't that one? No, it wasn't that one. Was it this one? Yeah, here we go. So Sky, Kaveh Solokov from Sky said the latest information is that Leverkusen would accept a package of £120 million, which is in and around €140 million, having previously wanted £126 million. So as you can see there, there's €10 million or £6 million. And also, let's remember, we brought in the money from Trent's sale as well. So, you know, you can look at that and think, well, that's maybe money we didn't know we were going to get. Jake Mason, how are you, bro? Hi, mate, and I hope you're well. I am, thank you. I hope you are as well. Any truth to the Ederson situation? I think he's a really tidy defensive midfielder that we could rotate Grav with. I love him, Jake. I've been a big fan of his. If you go back and watch previous transfer window streams on here, I was screaming out for Liverpool to sign Ederson. Truth is, I don't know. I've seen the same report you have from Tiro Atalanta that said Liverpool are interested in him. I do know that Gasparini has now left Atalanta as their coach, so could be time for a bit of change there at the club, but I just don't know. I hope so, because I love him. I think he's brilliant, but I don't know. I really don't, because we still have to figure out what's happening with Tyler Morton, what's happening with Bajcetic, what's happening with McConnell. We've got Trey Leone coming through. So it's a balancing act now between making sure we have players for the here and now and making sure we have adequate backup as well. And truth is, mate, I have no idea what to expect in defensive midfield, if anything. Alan Thomas said, Craig, I can't see any Argentinian ever giving up the number 10. It's not in Liverpool's nature to force a player to give up a number. It has happened in the past when players have willingly given up a number, but I can't speak to how Alexis McAllister thinks about this, because I'd be just making it up. I don't know how he feels about it, nor do I know how insistent Wirtz would be on potentially taking the 10. You know, it's not like it's a number that he's only had his entire career. He's worn 23, 27, 10, and I think one more number somewhere. But yeah, look, this just kind of came out from Plettenberg today and a few others about Wirtz would like to wear the number 10. But I don't know if Liverpool would be open to that or not. I guess we'll find out. But McCauley said, Craig, keep us posted, bro. You know I will, my man. You know I will. Whatever happens, if Wirtz farts, I'm going to know about it, and I'm going to be letting you know about it. Yeah, look, what I refuse to do is come on and lie to you. You know, I could go out on a limb here and tell you it's all agreed and you've nothing to worry about. But what I know to be agreed is the personal terms, the length of contract, the fact that he only wants Liverpool. But what's happening in that room between Liverpool and Leverkusen, or over the phone between Liverpool and Leverkusen, I don't know. You know, I'm as anxious to await the outcome as everybody else. But if you're asking me for a percentage on the deal happening, still the same as the other day, 99.8%. There's just no thoughts in my mind that this deal falls apart. None. Still absolutely sure that we're going to see Frimpong Kerkez and Florian Wirtz, Liverpool players, very quickly. And then after that, I think we may see some sales to free up spaces and wage wiggle room for the future. So there's a few big numbers potentially coming up, like we've mentioned. So give us your shouts on who you'd like to see as the new number 7. If Diaz moves on, who takes number 7 at Liverpool? It's a big number. If Darwin leaves, number 9, do we give that to a new number 9 if they come in? There's just, lots of them. 23 is still available, like we've said, a number that does hold some significance at Liverpool. Wirtz takes it. Yeah, Wirtz 7 would be brilliant, by the way. If I'm Liverpool, that's the pitch I'm making. You know, I agree with you on that one. Wirtz 7, lads, is a brilliant show. I totally agree. Like, want to be the new King Kenny. You know, it's an easy pitch to make, isn't it? Number 7 is an iconic number. So I agree. If Wirtz can't get 10, 7 feels like a brilliant fit because it's such a significant number for Liverpool. If you can do justice to the number 7, you're a superstar at Liverpool. Wirtz number 66. Yeah, no, I don't ever want to hear or see the number 66 on a Liverpool jersey again. Thank you. Zach said, I already see the Frimpong and Konate duo. I hope so, man. I really like Ibu. I want him to stay. I would sell Jarell Kwanzaa in a heartbeat. I'm not going to lie, and I think we will sell him. But yeah, I want Konate to stay because I don't want us to have to try and set up a new centre-back partnership. We're already going to be looking at a new right-back, or at least, yeah, a new right-back. I'm going to feel comfortable in saying that because Bradley wasn't really ever a starter. So between Bradley and Frimpong, we've a new right-back. Left-back, well, we're going to have Robbo and Milos Kerkez there as options, so change there. Don't want too much change at the centre of a defence either. SDO said, Gordon would be great. The front three needs raw pace. So there's a poll for you. One sec. Would you take Gordon as a Diaz replacement? Actually, I suppose I better put Anthony in there just in case people get confused. So, would you take Anthony Gordon as a Luis Diaz replacement? So, Malik Fofana, you said 54% no, 46% yes. Let's see if Anthony Gordon can change the dial, or if it's just a case of people don't want to get rid of Diaz, because that I totally understand as well. You know, Lucho's a really easy player to like, and I wouldn't be rushing him out the door, but I feel like he's going based off his statement and his girlfriend's statement. Might be a dumb question, Craig, but has a player even ever taken a double figure number like 100? I swear there was a player in one league that took it, but I don't know what the rules are about it. I know in La Liga, as an example, you can only have up to number, was it 27 or something like that if you're a senior player, and numbers above 25 or 27 are for youth team players. Paolo said Diaz was boss last season. Gordon is a sidestep move at best. So I think, excuse me, Paolo, with Anthony Gordon, we're kind of looking at potential as well, aren't we? And the homegrown part. So there are a few aspects that probably tip me into the yes, I take Anthony Gordon's side. If I'm looking at it just purely from a performance-related thing right now, yeah, I'm up in the air. But one, he's a Liverpool fan. I think he'd run through a brick wall for the shirt. Two, he's homegrown, and that will help because we need to fulfill that quota if we want to have the full 25-man squad. And also, I think he's got improvement left in him. What is Anthony Gordon now? 23, 24, something like that? So he has time on his side to fulfill, and I do think a bit more pace as well. So I'm kind of, would he be my ideal one? No, I'd take Nico Williams in a heartbeat, but I think if you offered me a swap for Anthony Gordon and Luis Diaz right now, I think I would probably take Anthony Gordon. Yeah, I think I would. Rafael from Milan. Who was it that was linked with him? Was it Man City? Somebody was linked with Raf. Oh, Bayern Munich. That's who it was in my mind. Yeah, Bayern Munich had been linked with Rafael, but even Milan fans will tell you he can be very inconsistent. You know, when he's on it, and he's brilliant. But when he's not on it, he looks like he's just stealing a living sometimes. Alan Thomas said the stars all line up for Gordon. He ticks a lot of boxes. Yeah, and we also know that Liverpool were willing to do that deal last summer. So we know that the club have an interest in Anthony Gordon. Now, I don't know with the Malik Fofana stuff. If there's truth to that, that could be a masterstroke. I don't know if Edwards and Hughes have looked into the underlying numbers here and the data shows Malik Fofana to be a potential world beater in the future. I don't know enough about the kid to know that much. But Anthony Gordon, we do know there's interest in the past there from Liverpool. Man City still not charged yet with even one charge. That's false. They have already been charged. Like the charges that are against them, they've already been charged with 130 charges. Now it's just a matter of are they guilty or innocent. So to say that they haven't been charged is incorrect. They've been charged with all of them. But now we got to wait and see whether they get away with it or not. That's a different conversation. Liverpool should try a bid for Barella. I don't think we need a Barella style midfielder at the minute. I don't. I think probably move past needing a Barella type midfielder for me. And also, what is he now? 26, 27, something like that? Will I watch Ireland? Probably. Better if I'm not working or I'm not busy when they're on. I'll probably have it on in the background. We need another centre-back. Yes, Eddie, totally agree with you, my man. Completely agree with you, actually. I would say, Eddie, one centre-back right now, two if we lose Kwanzaa. That's what I'm saying, because we haven't replaced Joel Matip, in my opinion. And I'm fully not convinced on Joel Kwanzaa either, mate. So, couldn't agree with you more, my man. And I do think centre-back will be a position you see Liverpool do business at. But I think it'll be later in the window when we've made some sales. Arujo for centre-back. So are we talking about Barcelona Arujo or are we talking about Benfica Arujo? The one from Benfica is a distinct possibility. But again, I'd be a liar because I just don't know. I don't know who the centre-forward target is. I don't know who the centre-back target is. I don't know if Liverpool have their eyes on a defensive midfielder. That I'm always been honest and told you. If I get information, I'll say it, but I'm not going to make stuff up. What I do know is the three that I've gone out on a limb for, and that's Kerkez, Frimpong, and Wirtz. Ryan said, obviously won't be us, but Martinelli is an option. He's definitely an option to be sold by Arsenal. If Jurgen was still at the club, I don't know, Jurgen seemed to be always really fond of Gabriel Martinelli, but yeah, it does look like he could be an opportunity, or could be a candidate to leave Arsenal this summer. And I wouldn't blame Arsenal for selling him either, because he does seem very inconsistent when you watch him. Like, lots of pace, lots of trickery, but the end product just doesn't seem to be there. Based on expectations, did Palace have the best season this year, considering it's their first ever trophy? No, us. And the reason I'm going to say us, Harry, is if this was a year where Klopp was still at the club, I'd agree with you. But remember, nobody gave us a sniff. Top four was the prospect for us, according to most. So to win the league by 10 points and to do it, taking our foot off the gas at the end of the season, I think you have to say us, because nobody expected it. If Klopp was still at the club, I would have had an expectation that we were pushing up the top end. So for me, because of the whole whoever comes in after Klopp's destined to fail narrative that was out there by a lot of people, I would say that. But after us, yeah, it's been a great season all around. If you look at it, it's been the season of the bird, though. You know, I've got the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, Liverpool winning the Premier League. You've got Crystal Palace obviously winning the FA Cup. Newcastle, another great underachieving side who go and win a cup this season as well. Did you hear Palace might not be allowed play in the Europa League? Yes, I did, and I have to say it feels like another one of these big clubs get away with it, but John Textor owns 43%, I think, of Crystal Palace, also owns Lyon, who are going to be in the Europa League. So there was a report that there was an emergency meeting taking place or something between UEFA and Crystal Palace to try and figure all of that out. But I mean, they let Girona and Man City do it in the past, and I think they've let other teams do it as well. So, you know, we've seen the whole Red Bull RB nonsense. So I think they'll find a way around it. You couldn't begrudge Palace their season in Europe after what they've done. Right, we're 317 away from 320,000 subscribers, folks. So if you can, do drop a like on the stream. Hit that subscribe button for us as well. Also, bottom right corner of the screen, you'll see a QR code. And also, you'll see a little Craig's face there saying subscribe now. If you haven't subscribed yet to our Clips channel, you have a chance to change our trajectory massively. Our dream has always been to have 2 silver play buttons for the channel. We don't think we'll ever get a gold play button because I don't think we're going to get to 1 million subscribers. But we have a chance to get a silver play button for our Clips channel. We need to get to 100,000 subscribers to do it. We're closing in towards 50 at the minute. If you can do us a massive solid and subscribe to the Clips channel, that'd be really appreciated. Yeah, I've always said I don't think we'll get 1 million subscribers. I'm not that arrogant to think we'll get 1 million subscribers. I still can't believe we have the numbers that we have. But yeah, a silver play button on the Clips channel would be amazing. Although people keep telling me we might get to 1 million someday. You never know. Reese said you never know. Yeah, it's what's with slow mode. We put it on to stop people spamming shite, so everybody's a fair chance to get their comments read. This reason the mods would have put slow mode on, mate. Is the Wirtz deal off? Why would you say that? What in any way indicates it might be off, Daz? Nor, I don't get where you pulled that one out from, my man. It is far from off, mate. No, it's getting closer and closer, and there's nothing to worry about on it. As has been reported far and wide, he only wants Liverpool, and that deal will be done. So no, you've nothing to worry about. It's not off. I'm Tyler Gray, said 500k by next September. I'm calling it. Look, if we get to 500k, then I'll maybe start dreaming towards the million. But when you're less than a third of the way there after 7 to 8 years, 1 million feels like a lifetime away. Patience is a virtue. I love it. More puns. Keep the puns coming in. Dave, I'm not making Egyptian jokes. I'll be cancelled, bro. I'm not. I can't read that one out. Petter said, Craig, where do you think Ekitike ends up? Don't know. But I know this, Petter. I don't think either of our clubs, you're a Chelsea fan, I'm a Liverpool fan, I don't think either of our clubs should be spending 100 million euro on him because I don't think he's a 100 million euro player, but I've no idea where he ends up. Your guess is as good as mine. Do you think Wirtz takes number 10 shirt from Maka? Only if Alexis is willing to give it up. I mean, the chat we were having earlier on, we were saying number 7 is going to be available if Diaz goes. Sonny, so number 7's a really big shirt at Liverpool as well. But no, I wouldn't be looking to take it off McAllister. Maka deserves the 10. But if Alexis of his own volition just offered it up, fair enough. But I wouldn't be looking to take it off him, no. A Wirtz song is going to be very difficult to pull off. Oh, they'll find a way, my man. George, they'll find a way, dude. Liverpool fan base, different gravy when it comes to coming up with songs. Petter said, ridiculous price. He does look like a decent player. Oh, look, absolutely. He's improved since he's gone there. PSG move didn't work out for him. Do you know what's an interesting one? What does everyone think of the whole links to Gonzalo Ramos from PSG? Because they're definitely selling him. That's been put out there today from even the French side. Sam Maguire said that Liverpool are keeping tabs on him as a potential option. I've kind of been on the fence on it because I remember him at Benfica doing bits like putting up numbers and doing really well in that Benfica team. And then he went to PSG and I thought, okay, let's see how this goes. But never really fully established himself through the middle there under Luis Enrique, and Dembele or Doué seem to be more central when I've watched. So, or even Barcola on occasion. So what do we think about him? Would we be all right with the possibility of him for the right number, or do we just think it's meh? Fabrizio Romano saying Milos Kerkez can't wait to join Liverpool. Well, he haven't half let it be known, has he? With the amount of posts and all he's like, and yeah, he's defo coming. And he's going to be brilliant for us as well. He's just the right player. I think I've not really come across many Liverpool fans who don't think he's the perfect addition. We should go with Kane to replace Darwin. Really? Harry Kane? He's the most un-Liverpool type player I could possibly imagine. Plus, what is he now? 32, 33? 80 million euro? No thanks. Do you think we make any more signings after Wirtz and Kerkez? Absolutely. But I do think we'll probably see some sales then. Um, when you think about the three players we're bringing in, they're all the top targets. They're the top priorities. Right back, left back. I would say a centre forward, but obviously Arne does want a playmaker, does want more creativity since Trent's departing, so makes perfect sense if you can get Wirtz for it to be him. But after that, I would expect Liverpool to slow down a bit, maybe listen to some offers that are coming in for the likes of Darwin, obviously, Diaz perhaps, Harvey Elliott, Jarell Kwanzaa, Tyler Morton, Costas Tsimikas, obviously Queven Kelleher is about to sign for Brentford. So yeah, we're going to see a lot of money brought back in as well. And I think it's going to be an up and down window for us Liverpool fans. Really great start, maybe some downtime as we look to move players on. And then I would imagine some of the window is going to be about seeing what opportunities may present itself. So centre back would be a position that I think Liverpool need to go out there and strengthen in this window, regardless of anybody else leaving. Craig, why don't we sign Jonathan David on a free from Lille? So he was initially rumoured to be looking at a move to Napoli, and I think his wage demands or something like that put Napoli off that deal. And other than that, it's been really, really quiet around Jonathan David, at least from what I've seen. Um, like all I'll say to you, son, is Liverpool know he's out there. Liverpool know his contract with Lille is up at the end of June, so I'm sure they're aware of it being an option. But after that, I don't know. Eze, isn't he 27 though? Eze. Um, again, I feel like I'm not making this up, but I swear there was a story today linking him with Bayern Munich as well. Maybe hooking him back up with Elise, but that could be just paper talk. Kerkez picture on X. I'm gonna need more than that, Jamie. In a Liverpool shirt, or what type of picture on X? I'm sure Mark and Connor will send it over to me if we get it, but SA's 26. Thank you, Grim Reaper. Appreciate you. Dave said, saw links today to buy Oshiman. Again, like, you guys could have named the one Liverpool want, and all I can say to you is I don't know who the centre forward target is. I'd be a liar if I said yes to anybody, because I haven't got a clue. You might be right. The only one I'm telling you that isn't going to happen is Gyökeres from Sporting, but after that, it could be anyone. I don't know. Oh, he signed the Liverpool shirt. Ah, nice. Nice. We like that. Look, let's be honest about the situation with Milos. It's been the most open-ended thing to see he wants to come to Liverpool. Like, he's not made it in any way a secret that he wants to come and that he's going to come. He's been liking posts for ages. Yeah, it's been really apparent that he wants to come. The only thing I worried about was, would Liverpool pay the money that was maybe being asked? Oh yeah, I can see him there now signing the shirt. Nice. Nice. That's good news. I like seeing that. Oh yeah, it's got his name on it as well. Nice. Hello, Milos. That's class. I love players like that, by the way, that want to come and play for the Reds. I love it. Hyde said, I'm so sad about Mbuemo going to Man United. It's insanity for me. If Newcastle are after him, Arsenal are after him, Why are you going to United? Like, it just seemed like the most ludicrous move ever. Ivan, you big hero. There he is, the man of the moment. Let me make you a mod, Ivan. I love you. Let me get you on here. Hang on. Just want to make sure I can see your comments when you come in, my man. There's Ivan. Big legend. Always so kind to us as well. We're all team Ivan Schwackoff on here, bro. But yeah, great to see him signing it. Definitely. It's I'm buzzing about Kerkez, to be honest with you. I really like him. And for Kerkez and Frimpong, the options down the two flanks for us and the speed we're going to have is going to be brilliant. Grim Reaper said, Craig, after Mo has given us another 2 fantastic years, when he leaves, would you retire the number 11? No. I'm not into this retiring football numbers bollocks. It's too American sporty. No, I don't want any number retired from Liverpool, especially not one like number 11, which is such a cool number. Like, nah, not for me anyway. And Buemo has ruined his career going to Man United. Newcastle would have been so much better. From Dan, I agree, man. I agree with you. I think, look, if I was a player and I had an option right now to go to Newcastle or Man United, I'd be running to Newcastle. In years, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, no doubt United would have been right up there if you were a player wanting to progress your career. But Newcastle seem a far more exciting prospect now. They're back in the Champions League. You're going to have Isak there in the centre with you. Bruno Guimaraes behind you. Eddie Howe, a manager who's just proven he's won a trophy with them. Owners that are going to want to spend to improve the team as they continue to get more Champions League football and more PSO room. I just think it's a mad move from going to United. Like, yeah, it's just weird. You're my Wirtz, you're my last, you're my everything, the Barry White song. Nice. Well, Connor's got the Barry White voice, Mike, not me, so maybe Connor can give that one a bash for you and sing it. Alex, how are you, my man? Appreciate you. Hi, Craig. Love your channel and vibe. Always look for your content, honest judgment on transfers, rugby love the club. That means a lot, Alex. I appreciate you, my man. Thank you. Right, ladies and gents, a couple of things. We've about 5-10 minutes to go on tonight's stream. There will be a late news video as I've got, again, the inbox filling up with stuff to talk about. So, a couple of things before we finish up. Let me just read this one out as well. Thank you, Scratching Claimers. Said, am I the only one who thinks Liverpool will pull out of the Wirtz deal purely due to the transfer fee and structure? Yes, I think you are. I can promise you, man, we're not pulling out of that deal and it isn't falling apart. I totally understand the old PTSD of past transfers and all that stuff as well. It's happening. I'm telling you, man, it's happening. And I get it. I'm frustrated it's taken this long. Every time I look at my phone, I want an update on it. But, you know, we'll be happy campers soon enough. Oliver Fox said, sorry, Craig, about the FSG comment. I followed Liverpool for about 7 years when I found my love for football. You don't have to apologise at all for having an opinion, Oliver. It's just that one particular aspect of it that always winds me up when people try to use it about FSG. The club was never going to go out of business. It was just a way to get rid of Hicks and Gillette, and or Royal Bank of Scotland called in that loan. And but you know, they have improved the club dramatically. There's no denying that. I've just had issues with them not spending enough in the transfer market in windows gone past. But to their credit, this window, it looks like they're stepping up. And I always promised, if they start to step up and start to back the managers, you'll hear a lot less complaints from me about them. I didn't just give out about them for the sake of it. I always felt like it was my genuine opinion of them. Always a pleasure, my man. Always a pleasure. Thanks, Craig. You never walk alone, and everyone in here for the kind words, including mods. Always a pleasure, bro. Always a pleasure. You always make me smile. You're always so kind and nice as well when you talk about us, and we give you the same respect you give us back, my man. Right, let's look at the poll and see what you think. So, would you take Anthony Gordon as a Diaz replacement? We're 10 votes away from 2,000, and then we'll call it a night. All you need is Wirtz. Love it, Jerry. Love it. Right, 3 votes. We're nearly there. There we go. So, 60% of you guys and girls said yes, you would take Anthony Gordon as a replacement for Luis Diaz. I agree, I would, but I think that percentage is probably right as well of where I am. 60% yes, 40% no. But let's wait and see what happens. So look, ladies and gents, we'll have an updated news video coming out now where we're going to be talking about a few stories that we haven't had a chance to go through tonight. I will see you guys tomorrow, usual time, 4:30 for a news video, 8:45 for the stream. Do you know what the wage bill is in the Wirtz deal? I believe it's about 300 grand a week from what I've been hearing. Yeah, I believe it's about 300 grand. Some people have said 310, 320, but that's kind of the numbers I think we're working with here, Suleiman, in and around that. Right, ladies and gents, much love. Appreciate you all as always. Thank you for making it another fun stream. If you can, though, remember, hit that subscribe button. Check out the Clips channel. And again, thank you so much for all of it. You're absolute legends. Every night I come in, look forward to chatting with you. Appreciate your support. It means the world to us. We'll talk to you tomorrow.